What's up, y'all? Good morning. Welcome back to the Sorry Shoe Podcast. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Got a lot going on. We got a lot to cover this morning. So you see the thumbnail, you see the title. We're gonna kick things off with this Camron and Kanye beef. There's even been more responses from Kanye's side since Camron went in and pretty much flamed Kanye. Uh, I want to know if this is past the point of no return because some of the stuff that's being discussed, right? We got some Diddy updates. There's a bunch going on in his case. Once again, we're weeks away from his trial start. New motions that have gone in, certain positions that his defense has taken. The judge gave him a win, and then also he lost in another area. We're going to get into that. You also see Matt Hoffa in the thumbnail, right? It's been a lot of discussion around the My Expert Opinion show. It's been a lot of stuff that has come out from some of his old co-hosts recently, things that I skipped that I didn't cover. But there is something that came out recently that I do want to cover. And I think it's only right to shed some light on it because the internet loves controversy. So I want to put something else added out into the conversation. Okay. What else do we got? We got more Shedeur Sanders updates. I got a quick one for Shannon Sharpe. I got a lot of stuff that's not in the titles, that's not in the thumbnails. So bear with me. And maybe I'll even close out today's stream with a quick story about home ownership and saving, a story related to that. I got to remember, and I'll close out like that because I see a lot of people that y'all DM me, y'all tweet me, y'all put y'all comments. Even the other day, y'all like when I talk about experiences, entrepreneurialism, business ownership, uh, home ownership, life, success, uh, keys to success. Y'all really appreciate some of that conversation. So I want to get into like a story that I had recently at the end. And quick shout out to the chat. I want to thank y'all for being on time, and y'all are on time because y'all see I'm on time consistently, 6 a.m. every morning. Big salute and shout out to the members and checks and balances, of course, and the members. I got y'all. All right. Let's get going because we got a bunch today. So we're gonna kick things off like the title and the thumbnail says. Y'all peep the bar in the title, right? Diddy crossed the line. That's a triple. All right. Diddy's in the live for a separate topic. Diddy, did Camron, did he, 2 words. And then last but not least, of course, the Diddy associated with all this, what Kanye did with a 14-year-old, the no Diddy type pause. You know what I'm saying? So that's a triple. I'm not a rapper, you know what I'm saying? I hang out with some battle rappers here and there, but that's a triple if y'all missed that. All right, give me my credit. Definitely not my lane, but I'm gonna make an attempt here and there. All right. Camron responds to Ye. What was he talking about?
What you got going on?
No, what's up with your son, man? He's still your son. That's my nephew. That's your son. That's my nephew now. Get your son under control, man. What we doing with him? Is he disowned, or you gonna have a talk with him?
I might have a talk with him. I might have to have a talk with him.
All right, so we not disowning him.
Nah, I'm not just yet. Not just yet. All right. I'm gonna fly to California tomorrow, man.
All right.
See where he's at, man. Because we gotta talk, man. I don't like what I'm hearing.
All right, no, that's all good.
You hear what he said about you?
Yeah, that's why I'm talking to you. Because I don't usually talk to niggas who suck dick. Once they suck dick, I don't go back. I don't go back and forth once you admit you suck dick. That's just me. That's what I'm
trying to figure
out. Respect everybody.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm talking about. What are we doing? That's what I'm asking. Because if you giving them a pass,
I can't give him no pass.
I'm not going back and forth.
Yeah. I didn't hear all that, but
we talked about it last week.
Yeah, I gotta walk away.
Yeah, like that's what the whole thing was about. I was just like, I know how you stand on business. I didn't know if we had, it was what's it called, the intervention. If you was gonna have
I was trying to have the intervention, but I can't stand.
All right, it might have been a phase.
So what Cam is saying is that his whole phase is up.
You hear the laughing in the background?
He can have his whole phase deleted.
Listen,
whole phase.
No, you could delete being a hoe. What Dre said, but Dre ain't a man who suck dick. That's what I'm saying. Listen, if you like it, I love it. I'm following your lead on this.
This is uncharted territory. These are conversations we never had in hip hop. This is uncharted territory. Please forgive me for all my responses. I don't know what to say on this. I gotta pray.
Oh man! All right.
Well, real quick, just for context, can I read what he said? Because the audience is probably like, but what did he say?
Yeah.
Because I want you guys' reaction. So, Ye, in a deleted tweet, he said, how Cam say I'm doing anything bad for Chicago? Chicago loves me. I love Cam. It's niggas like you that had me shook to release the song, but I ain't scared of y'all type of niggas. And thank you for making Dipset. You're a god. And fuck you, by the way. And I got on my $2 million Dipset belt as I tweet.
Yeah, that's why I asked him. Like, because you know how I usually handle stuff like this. This is why I'm asking you. Was this still your son? Because it's my nephew. That's why I'm asking you. What are we doing with this? Do we leave it alone? I'm gonna leave it alone until Mace tells me what I have to do with this. That's all I can say, man. I'm gonna leave it alone, man.
Oh man, people, do you know that it's scientifically proven that laughing, it could even add time to your life? Like, it's very healthy to laugh, like physically, like internally, like it's healthy to laugh. It's scientifically proven. I would say Kevin Mace, they health is wealth up there on that show. They really have something unique with the comedy and the pause and all that. Like, I love that show. But when you see the thumbnail says point of no return, I'll let you guys decipher. Are we talking about Camron and Kanye's beef? Or are we talking about Kanye's actions? I'll let y'all decipher that. You know what I'm saying? But speaking about where a lot of this sprawled from, Kanye did it to himself. Okay. The attention whore, the greatest attention whore that I've ever seen parade around this consistently and for this much time, Kanye West. I don't think that this was something. This is my personal opinion. I don't think that this was something that he needed to get off of his chest for his spirit and for his soul. He just happens to be in this segment of I need all eyes on me, whether it's because Kendrick is dominating, whether it's because I self-admittedly said that I used to be scared of Drake and I'm jealous of Drake. Those two guys of what they got going on, dominating headlines. I got to take over the Grammys. He tweeted that, right? Hey, Grammys, we outed y'all. We passed y'all in viewership when me and Bianca, when we dropped the jacket and she was naked on the red carpet, right? Or whether you want the whole world to speak up on you and your troubles within your own family situations with your kid, you know, or you want to call other people's children retarded. You want to go at this rapper. You want to go at that rapper. You want to have Paris Hilton send you a cease and desist. You want to start calling out the mother of your children, talking about I should have been sleeping with Paris Hilton. You's really a maid. You's really was the help. I turned you up. You was really corny before me. He's going in all these different directions, and everybody's a target. Any and everybody is a target. His Twitter has turned into a source for most people at this point of entertainment. I don't think many people take what he says serious, or you can't. I think he's serious about it, right? But this whole thing about him and his cousin that he put in the song, it's not him. Oh, I need to wash my soul or anything like that. No, this is all part of all those examples we just gave. Him being an attention whore, and he thought that was going to be a bombshell within itself, and it is. If we turn around and we hear that one of the biggest musicians and rappers of all time of music history just comes out and says, by the way, I did such and such when I was 14 years old, it's going to go viral, but it has an adverse effect. You know, I think he expected everybody to go, oh, wow, we sympathize with you. And now we understand where your promiscuous nature comes from and your over-sexualizing of women at times and how you act and how you conduct yourself. I think we understand now. And there probably are people out there that felt that way. But then you have a whole other side of people, especially men, women too, but especially men that's just going to say, this ain't what we do. Space Ghost, I see you, man. Hang around, man. We're going to do some talking about MEO in a second. But a whole bunch of crop of people, especially men that sit around and saying, I'm sorry, but we just don't condone that type of behavior as a teenager, as a kid, as a man, period. And you coming out now in your 40s and expressing that and looking for some type of, I guess, pat on your back about it. Don't also forget the arena that you're in. you're in hip hop. Reminder, hip hop is the most homophobic arena in the world, probably. I'm not saying for right or for wrong. It's a homophobic arena. Okay. These rappers can't even talk anymore the way they really feel. You go back years on their albums, they're going to be saying the F word. I don't mean fuck. They're going to be saying more homophobic slurs or whatever. But then we see what happens to people like the baby on stage for his true feelings and this rap and that rap, and everybody switches up because corporate America and that wave of people, they're very, very strong. They can get you canceled. The only people that could talk negatively in that direction is Dave Chappelle. He's the only person that could do it and get away with it. Okay. Everybody else, chill out, be respectful, right? Be politically correct, regardless of how you truly feel in the privacy of your own mind or your own home. So Kanye is also getting reminded in one form or another, remember where you at, right? See, Cam talking about, what are we doing with this guy? You know what I'm saying? So point of no return. Once again, you decipher which aspect we're talking about. But Kanye, speaking of this whole viral thing that he brought about, attention based or looking for some type of solitude, whatever it is, he doubled down on it. Okay. He doubled down on it. And it's just going to be part of his legacy. It's going to be part of his person. It's going to be part of what we know him of going forward. People will never let him live this down. They will always remember this, regardless of how you feel about it, positive, negative, neutral, regardless. This is tied to you.
The cousin thing happens only one time because it was so hard. I want to say to really express that. I talked to him about that. Him and the whole team at the office and shit in front of the big screen with shit. So I sat down with Dave. I was like, man, this is what happened. And I love to just share the story because I felt so, I was traumatized by it because it wasn't like something, you a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just do what you see. And then you're told that it's wrong afterwards. And then you're told it's wrong. And then you're made to be embarrassed about what you did. And you meant, or it's like, this is who you are for the rest of your life. That shit was like blocked out of my head for like 10 years. And I knew that once that it was expressed, because I had people around me that was like, yo, take it to your grave. It's like getting over the fear, bro. The cousin thing happens only one time because it was so.
Okay. I mean, doing what you see or whatever, that's a deeper conversation about parenting and these kids. And I really do believe, to be real, no matter how strong you parent, these kids are going to have experiences outside of what they're being taught, right? Kids come home from school, they know the new dances, they know the new songs and the lyrics, and they got new ways that they want to dress and whatnot. You're like, shit, I didn't teach you that. Where you get that from? They getting it from the world. They getting it from the internet. They getting it from little Timmy that they sit next to at the lunch table. You know what I'm saying? So parents, staying as close to their children as possible. And it's not just about sexual orientation. It could be, all right, I saw a magazine or a movie about shootings or I watched the Terminator. Does that mean that little Timmy now should bring a gun to school? So we have a job to do. And I'm not just gonna, throw Kanye under the bus in that respect from a general parenting standpoint. But if that's where he's going, hey, what happened with me, I just did what I seen. People's not gonna let you slide there because there's a lot of kids. Well, then if you did what you were seeing, then what type of magazines was it in the crib? I'm over here defending the parents about what's the parents showing you. And you're telling me you did what you seen. Well, what type of, was it man? And I'll leave it alone. Let me move on. We're still on Kanye. We're still on Kanye. Now, you remember the other day when I said, people, sidebar, when is Kanye gonna shut the fuck up about a deceased man? I don't know the intricacies of the Virgil and the Kanye beef as far as like, did they do things, that was extremely crossing the line to each other? From what I've taken out of the public over the years, it just seemed to be something where Virgil was given opportunities in the fashion industry. Kanye was going through what he was going through, blowing up on people like Sway. You don't have the answers. They won't give me this. They won't do me that. Adidas won't let me style the next sneaker. And I need to be this. I'm the genius. I'm the Walt Disney. I'm this. I need to be the one that's saying what we do and what type of cars we drive and what type of clothes we wear. I'm the freshest. I'm the best. I'm the king. I'm the God. I'm God. I'm God. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's just. Actually, I could heavily assume that that's really a big part of his issues with Virgil. But did Virgil do something to Kanye? I don't know. Point is, the man is deceased, and Kanye continues to disrespect him as a deceased man. And in the midst of everything he's got going on, we're just adding stuff like this to the list. Ye claims Virgil's death was the result of stealing and betrayal. Niggas who go against me be dead. There's a lot of people going against you right now. So I guess you want to start claiming a spiritual link, some type of energy-based link towards the death of people that don't side with you. The levels of arrogance, I just find new ones for him that they shock me, but they don't shock me. You know, any man that jumps out here and says, no, I just told you I'm a God. Like, I really believe I'm a God. It's just like, all right, I got to take a grain of salt with everything that you tell me. But now you're trying to establish that if somebody goes, like, there's a link towards what can happen to people that go against you, even if you're not physically there causing the person's death. Who the fuck does he think he is? Well, like he answered that. I think I'm a God. All right.
Niggas who go against me be dead, bro. Niggas who steal from me, bro. Look at Virgil, he dead, bro. Niggas who steal from me and try to take the king position be dead, bro. When we say watch the throne, it's only one throne, it's only one king. And we know who the king is, obviously. Who y'all watching? Who y'all care about?
See?
You know what I'm saying? And these niggas can even. And the other thing is Cam, 50, anybody, even like Ferg. I got love for all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Why y'all niggas won't mention shit that's happening with my children though? Mm-hmm. Because culturally, y'all speak up, it's gonna make a difference. But niggas wanna be like, oh, we understand Ye now because of the cut the song. How about the fact that in real life, Twigs can send my daughter a fucking video clip and be in a video and I don't see it, right? And now, I always thought the two niggas who go against me be dead, bro. I never feel like ever having to go back and forth with in media is 50 Cent and Cam. I was like, them is the two niggas is like just as crazy as me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like when 50 Cent got Rick Ross' baby mama to go fuck the porn star and shit, like all that shit. I was like, damn, them niggas.
He paid for that though.
I don't even feel like it, bro.
He lost a lawsuit for that.
I'm gonna say it because it's gonna piss him off. I got bigger fish to fry, bro, than to be going back and forth. So if they can get in my head, or Cam can get in my head and be like, yo, fuck you, nigga, then he won. So matter of fact, you know what, Cam? I love you, because I do love Cam. You know what I'm saying? You niggas' hairlines is pushing back, though, but I love you. You know? And it's like, all right, sir. You know. No, I love that nigga, though. Do we in high school, right, nigga? Whatever, it's jokes. Nigga, like I said, graduation drop. That's the day 50 Cent became 25 Cent. You know what I mean? It's jokes though, nigga. It's love, right? I never feel like ever we cracking jokes, right? Ha 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 ha. Who laughing to the bank though? Oh, let me give him my correct shit. We cracking jokes, right? Ha ha ha.
So I mean, I love Trav, Virgil, and Drake. Drake, the realest one of those three, though. He not fake cool. He's just talented. And yes, it's fuck Virgil and any of these other niggas that worked for me, then then went against me. I love Virgil, and he used that very love to beat Nigerians. Nigerians are super smart. Oh wow. So with that, I mean, the continuing disrespect. Look at what's in this tweet. The continued disrespect of this deceased man, Virgil. Okay. The D-sucking, which applies to you these days, of Drake. You can't make up your mind whether you hate him, you love him, you're scared of him, you're jealous of him, you want him to speak at your funeral, or you want an outside with him. And Drake would be corny because I saw something that was like a Drake co-sign, like real recognized real. That I don't know if that was some fan made up, but Drake would be a cornball. Hey, Kanye, yeah, let's get back together and be all y'all history. Leave each other the fuck alone. Y'all would be corny to even try. It's a corny dynamic. It's a corny ass fucking dynamic. But that's within this tweet as well. And then, hey, if you're Nigerian, shots fired. You know, like that. Once again, going across a whole spectrum of people because you have an issue with one. Kanye West, man, like the guy is just so immature. You hear like even his disses, like, oh, but your hair, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, jokes is jokes, of course, but in the midst of this, I pulled it up real quick. I have to remind myself, he's 47 years old. Like, he really, really did not grow up. He really never grew the fuck up. He just didn't. He really didn't. And even if 50 Cent, bigger fish to fry, like, well, he's about to cross a billionaire status, right? 50 Cent is 50 Cent. Camron definitely is not on the level of 50 Cent and Kanye West, but from a media standpoint, Camron will hurt you. Camron has a platform he can get on weekly and berate you. So, and Kanye obviously realizes that. It's just so. I just never find a justification to side with this man. I could never find one. It's so tough. Like, even when I was trying to earlier, I had to think about it with his own words, like we're copying what we say. So then if it's boy on boy, guy on guy, and he's 47 years old, which means he comes from an era. If you're 47 years old, you're not even an 80s baby. You're a 70s baby. Yeah. So Kanye comes from an era. Okay. I'm formulating this in my mind right now. Give me the space to be real here, people. No disrespect to anybody. If you're a 70s baby, you come from an era when homosexuality was denounced. Society changed. Society greatly changed. Back then, those days, you had all those hate crimes. You can be beaten up for it, killed over it. Even publicly, the way people would speak towards different sexual preferences. That's why the F word is damn near being erased, right? It's almost being erased. Back then, like, you got the Eminems of the world and some of these rappers and their lyrics back then talk kind of different, didn't they? Talk very, very different in the direction of the homosexual community, right? And that's just rap era, like 90s and shit, of when they were just F this, F that, you can't be this, you can't be that, we gonna do this or act like this. We don't, they're outcast to us. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, no, that wasn't getting pushed and promoted. It wasn't, right? And if it was in some magazines, once again, then what type of magazines was in the crib? I don't know how his parents was moving around, and that's, I'm not trying to go there. I mean, even rest in peace to his mother. I'm not trying to go there at all. But I'm just thinking about it. The more and more he shows us, he reveals, is it psychological ties back to his childhood, or does he continue to formulate justifications and bullshit for the person that he wants to be? I think it's the latter. I'm going to go ahead and move to Diddy. All right. What do we got next? What is this? What was this? Hold on one second. Yeah, we're gonna go to Diddy's updates now. We got Diddy lacked mental capacity to commit crimes. So here we go. Still staying on the psychology of why people do some of the stuff that they do. Let's read through this. I got some paperwork to bring up for Diddy as well, stuff that's from his docket. All right. Part of Diddy's defense involves his mental capacity to commit the crimes while he was essentially wasted. He even has a doctor lined up to testify, but the feds think it's a totally irrelevant point. Prosecutors filed their opposition to this line of testimony, and in the docs, they say Diddy wants to have the doctor who's a Colombian professor or Columbia professor testify he had a mental condition bearing on the issue of guilt. So what does that mean exactly? Well, the detail of his alleged condition is redacted throughout the documents, but there are some clues, including a bit about Diddy's alleged drinking and drugging. According to the docs obtained by TMZ, prosecutors say legal precedent requires the defense to give proper notice before offering any evidence of the effects of drugs and alcohol on a defendant's memory or cognitive function. One other clue is prosecutors describing the doctor's potential testimony as evidence of the defendant's inability to control his behavior. What's interesting in this federal indictment accuses Diddy of drugging his victims into compliance during the freak-offs. But now it's a question of whether Diddy himself was in a haze during the alleged crimes. All right, let me just finish this last piece. Even if he was, prosecutors say the doctor's opinion on whether Diddy was lucid is irrelevant. In the docs, they point out doctors never personally examined Diddy, and his testimony would be based on his experience with other people. Prosecutors also want to block testimony of a forensic video expert regarding the Cassie Hotel beating video, which the judge ruled will be admitted as evidence. We saw that the other day. That's an L for Diddy. The judge has yet to rule on either matter, the other ones, as far as the drugging stuff, etc. But the trial is just a week away. How do we feel about this? So, Diddy lacking the mental capacity to commit crimes. I'm no lawyer, but for some reason, when I read this, it almost feels like if you go in that direction, it's almost an admission of guilt. No. Okay, like if we go to training day, you know, the wise men sitting at the table with Alonzo where he's trying to buy the warrant and all of that. The real warrant this time, not the Chinese menu. But remember the story he told him, you know, about the guy he do want to hunt down still. He's like, nah, you ain't getting away. You know, he played crazy. He did some wild shit with some peanut butter in front of the judge, and instead of putting him in jail, they put him in a mental institute where he served a year or two, whatever, and then he walked free, right? What's another one? Primal Fear. We brought that classic up the other day, right? Played crazy, got off, right? Playing crazy, playing drugged up, playing drunk. I just don't get it. I just don't get it because that the only way to play those angles is saying that the actions is true then, right? Like, I wouldn't have done this unless, to me, is the angle. I may not have committed that murder unless my mind wasn't on the fritz. I may not have done that to that person in that bedroom unless I was not drunk or inebriated or high on drugs. How else do you paint the picture? You know what I'm saying? So I've been going back and forth with some of the wins and the losses leading up to the starting of the trial. They say, I think the 12th is the opening statements. That's when, boom, it all begins. But this right here, I don't understand why Diddy would want to have to prove via a Columbia doctor coming in saying he wasn't coherent or of his right mind because of drugs and alcohol. It just is an admission of guilt to me. I don't get it. DW, DM me, man. I don't know. Lawyers DM me. That one's weird to me. But all right, let's go to another piece of paperwork from his docket. Like I said, his docket is on fire right now. There's a lot going on before they start trying to motion for this, stop this, allow this, stop the Cassie video, allow the Cassie video, push the date back. I just hired Brian Steele. Nope, we starting on time. Allow this lawyer, this medical expert to come in and prove I was drunk. Oh, it's a lot going on in his docket right now. But this one right here. We write on behalf of Sean Combs to respond to the government's post-arguments lie dated April 23rd, 2025, in which government, among other things, urged the court to admit Dr. Hughes' opinions regarding coping strategies and to request that the court reconsider its April 25th, 2025 ruling as the portion of Hughes' proffered opinion. Now, this sounds pretty much aligned to what we just went over from what Diddy was trying to do, right? But it's not the same thing. This is on behalf of Diddy's, right? This was from when they was just in court Monday, I believe, or Friday. And everybody's like, oh, the reports, he's all gray hair now and everything looking different. And this comes from that appearance. And this is them trying to stop now the prosecution side from bringing in these drug. So that now they're fighting over all these drug and alcoholic or whatever type of witness or experts coming in and giving testimony on both sides. Hughes' testimony on coping strategies is not admissible under Rule 702 because it will not help the jury determine the truth as to any issue in the case or explain any matter beyond the jury's ken. Instead, Hughes will make obvious points. Basically, some people do this and some people do that, in quotes, without any semblance of scientific precision. No similar testimony on coping strategies was discussed or admitted in either case. The court referenced in its April 25 ruling as supporting the admission of Hughes' testimony on delayed disclosure and memory. The government's so this stuff going back and forth. If this is allowed to be brought in, they think that it doesn't bode well for the jury. Diddy's defense, obviously. But similarly, inappropriate is Hughes' opinion that victims also fall back on ingrained responses to power in order to stay safe, such as attempting to please or placate the abuser, bargaining with the predator, compliance with demands of expectations, and or remaining silent. Hearing Hughes' opinion on this points adds nothing to the jury store of relevant information. Where's the part? I thought there was something in here. This is what I was looking for. Okay. Equally, if not even more problematic, it's Hughes' opinions that while most victims use some form of verbal response to communicate non-consent, certain common behavioral responses, such as engaging in polite resistance and attempts to persuade, deflect, or convince a perpetrator to stop, may communicate lack of consent. So that's they're ranging that. That goes from the nudging, nah, no, thank you, I'm cool. I'm gonna go over here instead, to just non-consent of these engagements or these interactions. All right. This issue in this case is coercion, but Hughes' injection of consent, a classic legal term which has branched into many aspects of popular culture, is liable to confuse the jury about the legal standard to be applied. Indeed, during a recent meet and confer, the government expressed plans to move to preclude the defense from posing questions about consent to witnesses, taking the position that the word would mislead the jury or mislead the jury. The jury will be instructed on coercion and should apply those instructions and those instructions alone to determine whether the victims was overborne. So if you're coming in and you're trying to prove via testimony from some expert, once again from the prosecution side, of my lack of ability, I guess, to curb somebody or to stop in advance or to nudge away from a particular encounter because of drugs, etc. Does it confuse the jury? If I was on the jury, it wouldn't confuse me. I would get the point. But we understand why Diddy doesn't want that to come in. It makes sense. So they're both fighting over drug-related stuff and alcohol-related stuff as it would pertain to alleged victims. And there's a part in here I think I read as well. Is it in the next paperwork or is it in this one? About drugs being used to soothe, literally, the pain from these encounters. Is that in this one or was that in the last one? Okay, Mr. Combs writes to object the government's latest and much belated enterprise letter, which was sent to the defense at 11:15 p.m. Okay, so I know what this one was. This is just the late stuff that they're claiming is coming in. The government has utterly failed to comply with that order. It has repeatedly filed supplemental letters adding new evidence and new theories. At last week's pretrial hearing, this court noted that the government's proposed Rule 413 evidence was not identified until March 26, long after the February 1st deadline for the government's enterprise letter. The court is sensitive to the defense's concern with so little time before trial, adding additional alleged victims, especially where the underlying allegations are substantially different from what is specifically alleged in the indictment and has been the focus of this case, is potentially prejudicial. It thus excluded much of the government's proffered evidence in part due to late and insufficient disclosure. Wow. Wow. It is impossible for the defense to investigate and respond to those new allegations in the next 2 weeks. As the court is aware, and then all this is redacted. Who's under here? Cassie or victim this and their names and whatnot. Who knows? And it's undisputed indeed. It is undisputed indeed. The government has explicitly conceded that many of those were consensual. Thus, in preparing for trial, the defense has focused its investigatory efforts on the alleged incidents that the government has alleged were coerced. So the coercion thing is getting more and more legs as far as what Diddy is going to be fighting during this trial. Yeah, we're going to hear about arson and sex trafficking and interstate commerce and crossing state lines and what else? What else is one? The what's the forced labor? We're going to hear about all that, but coercion is there's a lot that they're fussing over back and forth prior to this trial involving coercion. So maybe the defense feels like the prosecution, the government side is going to go heavy on that, and they want to stop some of that stuff from coming in. Now, us not knowing all the legalities erased around some of these time ranges, this is what I would say there. I understand if the judge sets a rule, documents in by February 1st, and then here you come March 26th, and trial begin is set for, like, let's say May 12th. I do have a big issue with that. I just got Brian Steele here. He needs to come up to speed. We need to deal with the superseding indictment, like the third revision and these new victims and these new accusations. I don't want to deal with that either. I don't, if timelines are to stand out as far as the legal process, then right is right, wrong is wrong, regardless of the substance of it. To me, I wouldn't want it to happen to me. I wouldn't want it to happen to y'all. But on the flip side of that, if there's wiggle room there for the government to slide in some of this stuff, regardless of these cutoff dates that allegedly the judge set, I look at it the same way as a lawyer throwing things out there, worded in a way that is supposed to be objected, is not supposed to be said. Things that you put in the jury's mind, even when you know, objection, strike that from the record, rephrase that, but I already said it, right? It's tactics. It's tactics. If you're the government, if you're the prosecution side, do you want them to have more time or less time to prepare? Duh. Do you want to blindside them? Of course you do. Do you want to have the upper hand? Of course, you want your conviction. So this, I could see why this docket is on fire, and the judge needs to make decisions on some of this. You allowing some of this or not? Late entries, new evidence, new victims. What are we doing here? The judge is going to have a tough time. Even before looking at this, following this Diddy case, for me, is the first time seeing how much goes on even before the trial. Okay, like Lil Durk's docket is real quiet. Very, very quiet. You know, the motion for, bond review again, that's like one of the biggest things that happened in months plus. Not much is going on over there. Diddy's docket, every day. Every damn day, B. All right, let me go to Shannon Sharpe real quick. This is going to be real short, and then we'll go to my expert opinion. I just figured since we're covering this in our cycle, it's relevant because there's always a difference between seeing somebody in action, seeing somebody speak. It's still shots are different. So when we saw this girl's still shots, it was like, yo, this girl looks young. We had our perceptions and our pictures painted. But when you hear her talk, it adds a whole nother layer to who we start to believe she is or what she is. A little young girl, to say the least, right? That's how I felt about Amber Rose. When we started seeing Amber Rose and Kanye West pop up all over town and walking around, and paparazzi was in their face, before the world heard Amber Rose say a single word, you know what I saw in her? Fly chick, looks like they both on a fashion type tip. It makes sense. The visuals of it. The moment Amber Rose started doing interviews and started talking, we started realizing who she was. I was like, oh, I see what she is now. You know what I'm saying? I'll just keep it at 1,000.
Well, we just pulled up to the grocery store, and I'm about to up. Just kidding, guys. I would never do that. I'm gonna be completely normal. No, I'm not. Okay, enough with this bull. Let's go.
So that is the young lady that Shannon Sharpe is in a debacle with right now. A few things, not to age shame anybody ever, but you 56 years old, brother. This young lady is 36 years younger than you. Why? Some people may not like this, but I'm not even mad at her. She's doing exactly what girls like that normally do. What did you think would happen? What is the obsession with older men dating women who are just barely coming out of teenage years?
Real talk. I mean, look at some of these comments. Just my opinion, but there was no other outcome but this. Hashtag respectfully, of course. Hashtag no. Oh, what's this? Sex tape, duct tape, and it wasn't R. Shannon in. Okay. These niggas be losing their minds over the most basic Starbucks barista looking, shaking my head. Monique and Kat tried to warn him. She mid as fuck too. Booby trap being a double entendre here is hilarious. Leonardo DiCaprio makes it look easy. He never goes through this. I think he underestimated her because she is so young and he got played allegedly. We'll stop there. If it makes it to trial, don't know state based on where it go, if it'll be televised or if we're just gonna have to, see press releases that come from out of the court or whatever. But this girl getting on the stand, I mean, she's going to be prepped by her lawyers if it makes it to trial, but just imagine listening to this girl talk at trial. I'm gonna leave it there. All right, let's go to my expert opinion. Shout out to Space Ghost. I saw you in the chat earlier. Shout out to the whole My Expert Opinion. Beautiful platform that was built up. And the leader, of course, of the whole movement, my guy, Math Hoffa. So there's a lot that's been going on, Math Hoffa. I know Math, he wishes that he never did that damn video. He got inspired by Adam 22, man, and now you got all of this bullshit. You see, you should have left it alone. But Math is my guy. So I had some great conversation with Math about just the industry, YouTube, winning, success, exchanging of advice, like last week or something. And then recently, one of his past co-hosts as well, the guy Bigger, came out with a video. And he has some wild allegations. He alleged that he said, I'm gonna paraphrase. You guys want to know the real reason why MEO ended boom boom? Because niggas was coming and shooting it, pow, pow, shooting the place up, Math Hoffa and shooting up the store and all that. So a lot of people picked that up. A lot of podcasters, blog sites, they picked that up. Why? Because I think people's trying to rationalize it because My Expert Opinion is such a big platform. So when Math does that video, and Math is even further expanded on why he did the video even after, he said words like content and whatnot. But of course, there's some stuff that obviously went on with the lights and all that. But when Math says $7,000 bill, you know what a lot of people did? A lot of people said, well, $7,000, you got it, pay it, right? But then you got the sublease and stuff. You got the landlord. You have the claims of the landlord being racist and all. So there's a lot of little elements there. And when you got all these different elements, people are trying to put the puzzle together because the platform is a large platform. He just cracked a million subscribers a couple months ago, right? So rightfully, I understand in a content cycle, a lot of people's going to pick that up. When Bigger said what he said, that makes people then look both directions. You know what happens when people look both directions? It's like what happened with me the other day when I said, hey, Clone told me this. And Knowledge, I'm going to call you and ask you. And if you don't say what Clone said, that means somebody is lying, right? That's the same thing just happened right here. If Math is saying these reasons right here, and then Math also does interviews or streams saying, I am about transparency. When he uses words like that, then Bigger comes out and says, no, it's really nigga shooting it up. Then people are going to turn back to Math and say, are you lying to us? right? So that's why it was big news for everybody. And I skipped it. I saw the bigger shit. I texted to Mav. I was like, you saw the shit? Mav texted me back. I ain't even gonna say we text me back, but I was like, oh, but I left it alone. Why am I here today? Because to see another MEO co-host come out and say that that's not true, but go past the fact of saying not only is it not true, but the allegations that Bigger is claiming, Bigger himself got from a third party, that would be kind of nasty work. Let's play it.
You know what I'm saying? We continue to talk, great conversation. You know, he started talking about shooting in front of the shop. That never happened. I'm telling Bigger. I'm telling him that never happened. That would have been out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would have been put that out. If this would have happened in front of the shop. You feel me? He like, well, somebody told me. I'm like, yo, Bigger, you talking to somebody that was actually there, seen it all, and there was other witnesses in the shop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what happened. Like, certain things you said was factual until you got to that's the truth. That's what happened. That's not what happened, bro. I told you this on the phone. That's not what happened. Why are you the only person, Sean Bigger? And don't take this as I'm coming at you, because I'm not. You know, there's a respect thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, nobody ever stood in front of my expert opinion and shot in the air or shot in the shop. Nobody, bro. Nobody. I understand, you know, everybody have their personal vendettas with Mav. I get it. I understand, you know, like, but if I say this, it's gonna go crazy. If I get it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get involved.
I could stop it right there. That's really all I needed. Shout out to Gat Taylor. That's really all I needed. You see how he interjected that little piece? I read words a lot. Like, I understand people have their personal this and personal that, right? So let's say hypothetically Math and Bigger on the same page. I don't over whatever business, whatever, right? Creating stories or hearing something third party and then you yourself going on camera and posing it the way that Bigger did, that's not good work. That's not good work. And then the person that actually was there, Gat, during the alleged what this stems from, he goes through, I'm not even gonna play the rest of it. He goes through the story of what happened that day. You know, there's people around outside or whatever, and you know, there was, you know, little cause to pause and all that, but you know, the firing of guns and all that, or shooting up the shop is a whole different story. Okay. I could put on an RBE event right now, and there could be a story that comes out that a couple people pulled up outside of the event that had an issue with a battler that was inside or whatever, right? And that would be the story. But if the story then takes a turn into those people was outside and they shot up the venue, that is night and day. That is a big difference. That is telling the public that, telling the fans that, putting that on my reputation. I got guests that's coming. People want to be safe. Or there's a lot of different elements there of saying that. And when he put that out there and I saw that, I left it alone. I was like, I ain't covering that. I'm like, nah, man, we usually talk behind the scenes about, but you know, the way he posed it, I thought like he was saying as if he was there or something. And you telling me that you got that from a third party and the person that was actually there is saying, yo, I fuck with both of y'all. Personal issues aside, that's not what happened. That's kind of nasty work. And then on top of that, Bigger, if Gad is lying on you, Math ain't co-signing this neither. If Math is lying on you, if people like me now picking up the updates make it look like you're incorrect in what you said, all you got to do is pull up and take a couple pictures of the glass, the bullet holes or the glass shatters or the holes and the indentations in the walls. You could do that. You could do that, right? But from what people are saying, you can't do that. That's not good work. I don't know Bigger from a hole in the wall. I just know him from seeing him on an MEO. But to get from a third party a story like that and to broadcast it in that kind of manner, that's not good work, people. We got to be fair. You know what I'm saying? I know people have issues with Math at times. Math is no angel. Neither am I, but Math is no angel. I know Math be having his ways about him at times, right? That don't mean that we put something like that on him. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know, I don't want to cover too much of the MEO because, like I said, it's the same thing I was saying the other day about battle rap. I know a lot of these people. Broke bread with some of these people. Some people I'm cool with past battle rap. So I leave some of this stuff alone. But, you know, if you have something like this that comes out, you know, I would expect people to stick up for me if you cool with me. And I don't like that right there to do the math if that's not true. If it is true, and Math, that's some foul shit going on. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to us. But if Bigger just did that and people's coming out and saying like that's false, that was actually there, that's wrong, man. Now I do have words for that. I do. All right. Let's go to this is a fast one. Let's go to Shedeur Sanders real quick. We've been covering him last couple of days, right? Like I said, I want to keep his overall story, not his stats, his story in our news cycle. Boomer Esiason, it's an OG, man. He had a take about the outcome of all this, and he's speaking up to the owners. You listen to what he's saying, he's kind of compounding the word collusion. Right? We've been covering that. So let's see.
They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed himself. His attitude off the field at the combine, his dad didn't help him either. You know, he was on podcast talking about, this is my son. If I can get him to where I want to get him to, I'm going to do that. But, you know, when you listen to this kid talk right prior or at the combine about if you want a new culture in your locker room, I'm the guy to do that. I can turn it around. I mean, he's very high on himself. And I think he was very off-putting to many, many coaches and general managers in the league. And I'm telling you right now, and I know this after talking to 3 different personnel people in the NFL this weekend, they didn't even have him on their board. They took him off, and they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this entitled person on our team. And I don't blame them. They took him off, and they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed himself. His attitude off the field at the combine, his dad didn't help him either. You know, he was on podcast talking about, this is my son. If I can get him to where I want to get him to, I'm going to do that.
So I take it back. I'm wrong there. That's his sentiments is not really leaning towards collusion. It's kind of leaning towards my take of after we, you know, first covered it, which is, yeah, him and his father may have hurt him. You know, the interview, the skipping of the combine, your attitude, you being a little bit too ahead of yourself, possibly as a person that hasn't played a single game yet. The loud voice, like people just like we stay now. If it's kind of consistent across multiple owners, like, yo, we gotta send a message, like that to me still brings back in collusion. But Boomer Esiason is kind of really going more direct at, you know, the son and the father there. And Jay, I saw your comment in there. Yes, Math is a very stubborn person. You haven't had a debate or argument until you had one with Math, okay? He is, but at the same time, like I said, I still don't like if people is lying or creating that type of shit on him, you know. But yeah, this whole thing with Shedeur Sanders, I'm glad that we covered yesterday him say, I just want to focus on football. I ain't doing the rap thing right now. His talents need to show on the field, of course, as he starts getting into training camp and everything. But just as it feels like almost just as much as his talents and having to show, he needs to clean up his image and show that he is a positive. He needs to show that he is a good presence in the locker room, that he can be a good leader. If you're selected to play a quarterback position, he needs to show that he could be mature. He needs to show that he's going to put the team ahead of everything. You know, that he's not trying to come in and be bigger than the program. And I'm not even trying to say that that's 1000% him. But all these people ain't saying this shit for no reason. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? With this smoke, sometimes. Anyway, Shedeur Sanders, we'll keep an eye on that. This real fast. I'm not even going to have too much commentary for this other than I'll save it. Let me put this on the big screen. Might be small on the screen. Y'all know who that is? That's top 5. Is there anything wrong with having security? Fuck no. I've had security many times at events, clubs, all types of stuff. So anything wrong with having security? No. But there is if you're top 5. Top 5. The goon's goon. I just don't expect to see him walking through an airport with masked security like that. Academics posted this. Academics is the person that actually tries to defend and claim that he signed top 5 and all of that. So for Academics to even be the one to put this out, it's just it's odd. It's odd. Leave that one there too. Y'all do it what y'all want with that. It's odd. I did see this. Young LA in a club. I did. Chill out with the music. Mute that for a second. Wow. Man, prayers for Young LA. So the picture on the right, when he was like, doing his old throwback track where most of us know him from, his feature with T.I., and the way he looked up there, it was just one of those unfortunate looks like, damn, man, like, I mean, it's not like he was a multimillionaire even when his name was at its peak or anything like that, right? But oh man, fast forward when we see some of these people, it's tough. It's tough. At least he's still getting interviews and show engagements, right? But to see this right here, luckily he got caught. Luckily, this guy right here caught him. But to just pass out like that, prayers for the man. You know what I'm saying? He had a recent interview as well where he broke down crying. He's obviously going through a lot, crying on camera like that, and not even just to like tearing up, but his breakdown on camera in that interview, he like was like, damn, like his demons was just that type of cry, like type of cry people be having at funerals. Like, yeah, he let it out. And damn, man, in the middle of your performance, you just pass out like that in front of everybody and looking that like you're going through stuff. It's just, wish homie the best, man. Wish homie the best, man. One quick one before I'll give y'all. We'll do a quick story relevant to yesterday's topic. But I love this. Y'all see this from Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle once said, if you look at the people in your circle and you don't get inspired, then you don't have a circle, you have a cage. Ugh. Beautiful quote. Very relevant to the company that we keep people. Very, very relevant. You should be inspired. Be inspired on multiple levels. This person has my homie over here has a beautiful family. Beautiful kids, beautiful wife. I see how beautiful that is to be a part of that. Man, I wouldn't mind having that for myself too. I'm inspired for that. My homie over here, he's got this big house and beautiful plush yard and everything. I wouldn't mind having that too. My homie over here, man, every time I see him, he's pulling up in my driveway with the latest and greatest. Man, I wouldn't mind that for me and mines either. You know what I'm saying? My man over here, he just started a new career, opened up a new business, just did this, just did that, just got back from Dubai and Africa. And I wouldn't mind going there too. All these different forms of being reminded of what's a part of life. And enjoyments and successes and new bounds that you can cross. You're supposed to be able to see these things. If you don't see any of these things, you're not reminded by them, you're not motivated by them. We're already on these hamster wheels. Some of us wake up every morning and this is our day, and then Monday it's repeat, do it all over again, right? What breaks the cycle sometimes? You know what I'm saying? Trying new things, seeing new things, new motivation, new inspiration, new opportunities. These are all the type of things that come from the people around you at times. At times, man. And you don't gotta have a bunch of Jay-Z's around you and be like, oh, look at I have something to aim for. No, you know what I'm saying? It's just positive people that are just doing good things. And if for nothing else, it'll also keep you on your game. It'll also keep you sharp. Like, how about just people that are clean, or people that iron their clothes and care about their presentation, right? Like, now go hang out with them. Real talk moment, right? Y'all, I'm not gonna let y'all lie to me. If you got fly people in your circle, of people that worry about their presentation, worry about their how they look, maybe into their outfits a little bit, manicured, groomed when they go out, right? If you get that text message, Friday morning, hey, what's up, ladies? We all going out tonight. It's girls' night out. Or fellas, fellas, we in the city. It's up tonight, right? Your boys is pulling up a certain way too. You not pulling up. You're not gonna be the shabby one. They like, hold on, my man over here, look, he, he got fresh pair of shoes, and his whole get up is put together. He got his jewelry and all that sharp. You want me to be the one to pull up looking like I'm leaning over and shit? Fuck no. So if for nothing else, they say still sharp and still, right? Like, nah, my guy's on his game. I'll be damned. It's never hate. That's the level, that's the form of motivation. That's the form of like, oh, nah, man, you on your game, I'm on your game. You know what that means? We on our game. You know what I'm saying? So the energy of your circle, it motivates you, it inspires you, it keeps you sharp, it keeps you wanting more, it keeps you progressing. You got people that are just going in the opposite direction. We have friends that just aren't on that type of wavelength. That's cool. I'm not saying disown them. I'm just saying be conscious of it. Be conscious of it, because there is that thing of misery need company, right? And when people aren't doing good, trust me, they don't mind if you're not doing good alongside of them. They don't mind. They don't mind. Stay here with me. It's all good. It's two of us. No. I'll fuck with you, but I ain't staying there. Like, hell no. All right. Yeah, man. Quick story, because yesterday we was talking about leasing, owning, real estate, savings, and we were basing it around somebody making the salary of $50,000, right? Which is, once again, something that a lot of people would kill over. You make $50,000 a year, you got a nice salary set up, got your nice little crib, you're doing life. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. But $50,000, like I said yesterday, I said, I don't know how much money you could even save in a situation like that. So here's a story that I just went through, and it came to a head yesterday, where it's just like, oh, bad news is what it is, part of it, right? So a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, I should say, right? About a month ago, my landscaper, he texted me. First of all, he was looking to get paid. He was like, yeah, the month's work is done, boom, boom. His updates is what we got to do. Got to come out and do next trip, blah, blah, blah. It's time for this. It's time for that. Here's your bill. But by the way, you got a pooling of water on the side of your house. It's an area that I don't even go to be honest. Like, if he didn't tell me, I probably wouldn't have never even seen it for God knows how long. I don't even go over there. He was like, you got a pooling of water on the side of your house. So I read his text message. I was like, all right. Walked over to the side of the crib. I took a look. I was like, yeah, what is this pooling of water right here? Now, one thing that it keyed me to is because I seen like little gnats flying around a little bit. And because, when you got pooling of water, it attracts things like that, like bugs and flies and mosquitoes and gnats and shit. I'm like, this definitely been going on for a second. But me, being a shitty homeowner for that moment, you know what I did? I told myself, because I looked at the drain that was by it. I looked at the drain, and the drain goes underground, and it's like you could tell that it's full, like the hill that it runs underneath, right? And I'm just like, it was raining recently. Maybe it's just pulled down and drained this way, whatever. It's not the gutters. Like, I was being an idiot for the second. I was just like, I'll leave it alone. Give it a week or two. It'll probably clear up. It is what it is. A little bit of water, no big deal. Right? I get my water bill. Water bill in I think it was like December or something like that, showed like $130. This bill was 900 and change. So, okay, something's leaking, something's running, there's a problem. Yeah, you could have a toilet that never stops running. When your water bill comes, you're gonna see it if you didn't just call a damn plumber to fix your damn toilet, or go fix it yourself. Go to Home Depot and fix it yourself, right? You're gonna see it in your water bill. So that type of jump in my water bill, I was just like, oh, no. So I know a little bit about, water, which is one of the most dangerous things for homeowners, water. I went to the main valve inside the house, main water valve, turned it off, went outside to the side yard where the drain was, and I saw still consistently leaking money. I mean, money, water. Oh, yeah, money. It is money indirectly leaking water. So I'm just a consistent flow of water come out, not heavy, but just a consistent amount of water. I'm just like, I'll give it 2 hours. Gave it 2 hours. The water is off in the house for 2 hours. Go back. That drain still got a consistent flow of water coming out of it. So I'm just like, okay. When it comes to water and the property, that's the main line or the main cutoff into the house. It's time for Chat GPT. So I went to Chat GPT. Chat GPT is just like one thing that it could be is a septic tank related. Now I do have septic. And it was like, now go outside, see if it smells. I was like, oh, hold on. I didn't smell none before. I'm gonna go outside, see. Damn, don't want to be septic. Ugh. So go outside, see if it smells. Don't smell. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't think it's septic. All right. There was like second problem, which isn't that bad. Maybe it's something going on with your irrigation, right? Your irrigation setup. So I'm like, all right, let me find my irrigation valve that's underground somewhere that I've never touched. ChatGPT, what does irrigation valves look like to turn that bitch off? Green little cover says like ICV or irrigation control valve or something, like ICV or something. I got a bunch of them around here. I found one that looked like a main valve. Shut that bitch off. Come back 2 hours later. Look at the drain outside of the house. That bitch still running. Damn. What does ChatGPT say next? Because you know how ChatGPT, you keep giving like follow-up questions and shit. Hold on. It didn't work. That didn't work. They'd be like, I got you. ChatGPT, third come around, says, hopefully it ain't this, but the worst outcome it could be then is your main water line that gets ran from the county up to the property could have went. I said, fuck no. I said, the pressure in my house feels the same. I just don't see it. And there's this little bit of water that's coming out the drain. I just don't see it. Can't be. I'm gonna call this plumber though. I got all this water building up on the side of my house, and I got these bills that are now showing me like, okay, play if you want. It's gonna be 10 times every time now. Your bill. So call a plumber. Plumber comes. He goes to the main meter. That's like, I didn't even know it was there. It's away from the house. It's like all the way 50 yards away. Right. Pulls that up. The irrigation main valve is next to it. He says, your irrigation valve is already off. I said, oh shit, so it definitely wasn't irrigation. He said, what we're going to do now is we're going to turn the main county water line off. If the meter is still running, you got a crack in your main water line. So he's like, you ready? Somebody sitting there. Turns the valve off, meter still jumping. He's like, I'm 1000% sure you have a crack in your main water line. I said, all right, what does that cost? He said, you want to know now? You want me to keep walking around and do my investigation, everything, and make a couple calls first? I said, just tell me approximate. He said, well, I did one last week for $8,700. He said, this one, based on the amount of it's going to cost more than that to fix this. And I was like, fuck. Now, this isn't something that you could leave. This isn't a fuck it, I'll do it next month. Number one, the water bill is already times 10 at this point. Okay. He tells me another problem. He says the drain is consistently leaking water. What's happening is the main water line underground that's got a crack in it somewhere, that water underground is just finding this drain and it's getting out there. That's what's happening. Not to mention the crack in your main water line, it's going to bring dirt, debris, and mud into the water that's coming into the house as well. So yeah, inside the house, you have water filters and all types of stuff, but you're straining your machines and your filters in the house more, which means that that's going to cost more. You're going to have to replace them more frequently. And at the end of the day, you still got mud, dirt, and debris that's coming into water that's coming up to the house. Filtered good or not, you kind of want that killed. No, now I don't drink from the tap. I shower from that bitch. Right? It's going through like 5 filters at that point and everything, but still, right? So this isn't a due tomorrow situation. It's a due now situation. So I said, call insurance company yet or not, we got to go. We got to go. So when can you get me scheduled? He said, for shit like this, give me 2 days. I got you. Gets me on the schedule, comes out in 2 days. It was a whole day job. They had to drill new holes into my basement, run a new line to the main water valve, shut off. They got all these big machines. My neighbors must have thought that I was like gonna destroy the house, because the type of machines and shit that they had outside for this type of job, new water main line, trucks and everything pulling up. I'm looking out the windows every once in a while, like shit. My neighbors like nobody called me or text me, but my neighbors like, the fuck he got going on over there? This like guy here like 8 a.m. ended up finishing everything at like 7 p.m. I gotta clean up the basement behind them, walk around the house, do the test with them. There's even other stuff they're warning me of. They're like, well, your irrigation is dead. We can't tie back into your irrigation. The irrigation company got to come out and redo that for you. We've also been keeping an eye on your pool to make sure that that's still running, because we don't know where the pool lines are tied into. If they're tied directly into the main line instead of coming to the house feed, your pool people are going to have to come and fix that too. I'm just like, I'm dying over here. But I called my insurance company. Insurance made it here yesterday. Now I'm fixed at this point, but now it's insurance time. Insurance company gets here. The guy's face, he's taking pictures in the basement, he's taking pictures outside. His face told me the tale. His face was just like, yeah, water main line, I just want to see, the damage. So take me to the side of the house. So I'm like, all right, let's go to the side of the house. He's like, he's looking around. He's looking at the shrubbery. He's looking at where the water was pooling, which is dried up now. You can barely see it. He's looking at the house and everything. He was like, you have any structural damage that you feel came from this inside the house that you can show me? I was just like, nah, just the fix inside where they had to run the new water main line to in the house, the main valve. He was like, all right, give me a few. I'm going to see what I can do with your policy. I'm going to do my best. Give me less than 24 hours and I'll give you a call. So he calls me yesterday after fully reviewing my policy. He calls me, says, look, man, I can get you a new tree there, new shrubbery here. If you want something done with the grass there, that's, it's regrowing anyway. This bush over here, that's all covered. But the thing about your policy and a lot of typical policies is, they cover the structure and the dwelling. So because you have no dwelling damage that you can show me, I can't do much, buddy. You want to do some yard work? I'll try to push that through for you. I'm just like, $10,000 for all of this shit, and I might get a new bush out of it. Like, what? But I calm myself down as I'm listening to him. I tell him flat out, I said, look, it sucks that I know that you're just being the bearer of bad news right now. I appreciate the call. Thank you for doing what you can. It's not on you. You know what I'm saying? He's like, he let a load off. He's just like, oh man, thank you, man. Like, since meeting you yesterday, man, I could tell there, but I want to review your policy again. I didn't want to say yesterday. I wanted to be sure, but I tried my best, homie. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm sorry. And I was just like, it ain't on you, man. Like, you didn't break the water line. Like, I appreciate the call, man. So, and I have a high deductible. And so I was probably going to be able to get like $5,000 back if they would have covered it, but they don't. So that little story there, when it comes to saving, when it comes to responsibility of being an owner, or even if you lease, what's up, Facts? I see you. Look at that. Random. I'm minding my business one day, and that just starts from my landscapers telling me that shit. Hey, man, you got some more. While he's charging me for services, but hey, man, you got some water over there. Then the bill comes. Then this comes. And I still got to redo the tie-in for the irrigation. The pool ain't fucked up. But I still got to retie that back in now. So $10,000 like this, just from a text message that I got from my landscapers. $10,000. Something that you can't put it off. I done got calls before from like battlers. One of the biggest battlers in the world, actually, right now. He's one of the most loudest people in the world online. Yo, man, you think you could afford me a little bit more of my back end? I gotta fix my car that's in the garage. That's general life, right? So your car fucks up. You got people just like, fuck it, I'll call Uber, I'll call a cab, I'll call this, I'll call that. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit I guess when people get hit with it, they could wait. But your water heater cracks in your crib, nobody's taking cold showers. Your water main line goes, nobody's gonna let that keep going. You're losing money as you wait, right? These are things that happen. This is why saving money, being responsible, you have to develop those habits as you put yourself in these arenas of just life. Period. You could just wake up one random morning and say $10,000. Now, remember, people, that city or that main water line, it's inches between responsibility. When the plumber when he walked me all the way out and I didn't even know it was there, the main, and he described to me like the county runs the line up to right here, and then you tie in right here and you run all the way up to your house. From right here all the way up to your house is your fucking responsibility. Never knew that. Never been around nobody that had a same story that told me no shit like that dealt with that before. I found out just from a text message on accident indirectly. Right? Inches between me being able to call the city and say, hey, man, come do this. Nope. It ain't on them. It's on you. Save your money, people. It's one of the morals of the story. Save your money. Save your money. Save your money. But all right, there goes a story for y'all. I tried to give as much details in it as possible, but it's little shit like that, man. Little shit. I see some of the people continue to come in. So no, we didn't sit here and just talk about life stuff, people. We already covered everything that's in the thumbnail and then some. So shout out to the chat. But all right. Happy what's today? Tuesday? Happy Tuesday, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. It's your boy. We out.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of and shout out to the members.
Red breed.